That
Yeah,
would be
because
no. Why would I pay money to cut all the extensions short?
why would you get short extensions? Like what? Yes, I opted for a 4-inch.
I think I took a moment trying to figure out. Is like, was that a legitimate question? Like,
Yeah, I had somebody ask
did
me
I
if
hear
the
that?
highlights back under here at the bottom of my hair, if they were natural. And I was like, yes, I lay in the sun with my head flipped upside down. It was under my, and I was like, no, those are not. I'm like, the gray is natural. I'm like, but the underneath highlighted blonde is not. It was just really funny. Like
those questions.
Like how would you get that underneath in the darkness of your hair?
I sometimes left wondering how some people function through life.
Yeah, I was reading I was laughing hysterically the other night, and he was like doing his own thing over on the other side of the room, and he looks over and he's like, "Okay, share it." He's like, "Why are you laughing?" You know, and I'm like, it was really terrible math things, right?
Oh.
So one of them was like, people born in the year 2000 are 36 now. Let that sink in. And I was like, what? And there was another one that said, a quarter a day will give you $9,137 at the end of the year. And I'm like, no, $1 a day won't even give you that. Like, what are you talking about? But there were all of these like,
how do they
Twitter
figure
things
it
or
out?
whatever. And there were a bunch of them that were like, people born in the year 2000 are now this age. None of them were right. And I'm like, they're 23.
2023. Can
Right.
we go to that? That's a cue right
That's
there. Like it's giving you
It
the
tells
answer.
you the answer in the question. I know. It was.
People born in 2000 never have to wonder how old they are. It's the
Ever.
freaking calendar year.
Yes, exactly. Yep. No, it was very, very funny. And I'm literally like gut laughing, like tears rolling down my cheeks, laughing so hard at this because I'm like, how do these people function on like
How
a
do you
daily
get through
basis? And I can't. I mean, Addison will show me all kinds of videos of like actual people that are just that.
The
Stupid is not the right word.
ignorance or the what?
Naive. I don't know.
Something.
It's something is anyways, but no, I
Lacking in common sense or
all of the above. Check all the boxes, please. Oh man.
life's going to be rough for some people.
Yes. Yeah, cuz I don't even know how they know how to stop at stoplights and like
Unless
which color
somebody's
is
there to
it?
tell.
What do I do?
But I
Right.
like going on red. Green to me is like I should step on green, right?
Yeah, I just feel like I identify as somebody that stops on green and goes on red. I know.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess we'll get started then. Oh, man. All right, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are back with another episode
we are.
in our beautiful sunset setting that we have happening right now, which I'm super excited about. And if we talk fast
so good.
enough, the lighting won't change too bad and it will still look good.
I wish it could just stay.
Right? Forever. I know. So somebody wrote something on Facebook today that said, I love wintertime and all, but I don't love watching the sunset while I'm eating lunch.
No.
I was like, that's so accurate. Yeah.
I know.
yeah.
Robert was sitting in his office and I had just said, there was something that we were going to, I can't even remember what it was, but it's like we were waiting for it to get dark outside. And he goes, as soon as it's dark, we can. I'm like, have you looked?
It's
have
there.
you looked? And he goes, and I'm like, look outside. And he goes, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. It's dark like right now.
Yep.
Right now. I don't like it.
So 2 stories about that. One, we had a photo shoot that we had to reschedule from prior to the time change to the week after, right? Didn't think anything of it. Kept it at the same time, like 5:00. And I was telling Addison that we had a photo shoot to do when I picked her up from school. And she's like, what time is the shoot? And I'm like, it's at 5. And she goes, when does the sun set? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I check and it was like 5:25. And I'm like, that's not going to work.
Dark photography.
At all. I was like, so we better back it up. So I got a hold of the client and she was like, I didn't even think about that either. And I'm like, oh yeah, like we would have been shooting in the dark.
So do you know how much lighting you would have had to bring?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, we would have been like in the woods shooting in the dark. But yeah. And then the second one was when we went to Alex and Logan's apartment for the first time, right? So Alex is like, it's very late. He's like, we have to be very quiet. He's like, just everybody make sure when we're going upstairs, like they're on the third floor. So
they're
make
so
sure.
respectful.
Right. And I looked at him and I was like, it is 6:15.
Did they move into a senior village?
No, it was pitch black and he had no idea what time it was. And so I was like, it's 6:15. And he was like, oh, well, we can just not be quiet then. He's like, that's fine. He was thinking it was like 10 o'clock at night. It was really funny.
Did these young men move into this complex of very elderly people that are tucked in bed?
Yeah, at 6:50. Quiet hours at 7. So yes, well, yeah, and that is what I wanted to talk about is that my boys moved out this past weekend, and
you said boys. That's
plural.
Yes.
They moved out together at the same time, which they have been planning for years to do this. Yeah. So planning is great. Conversation is fantastic, but when it actually happens,
reality.
My heart wasn't quite ready for that, And so in true my boys fashion, they didn't pack a single thing. So Friday, they took the days off from work and they were going to be moving that day. So I'm like, are you renting a U-Haul? Are you getting a van? Like, what's
the process?
Both of their works offered them vehicles. They were like, no, we're fine. So they're loading everything in like Logan's car. Yeah, it was very funny. Anyways, so they spent kind of all day sort of moving.
Kind of.
And by the evening, they had moved about 25% of their stuff. They at least got their beds, not their frames, but they got their beds over there. They had like
they're doing the mattress
a table
on the floor?
and chairs, and one of them had their bed frame by the end of the night. The other one didn't. It was still in the hallway, and no, they didn't have any clothes or anything, and so it was just very funny. So I kind of knew that they would have to come back, right?
Oh, for sure.
So Friday night was really weird. Like, there were ways I handled it, actually. Like, Aaron comes down and I have my little weed thing, and I was like, I go, what? I'm handling this just fine. What? I was like, it's all good. And he just starts laughing and he was like, yes, I see that you are.
It's so fine.
It's so fine. Everything's good, right?
Life is great.
The weird thing was Addison was away for the weekend too, right? And so then like the house became unbelievably quiet. And it was so weird. It was very, very strange. So it was very wonderful in one aspect. Empty nesting is great for one reason for married people.
Yes.
But the rest of it was like not cool, right?
It's a harsh break. I mean, because it's not like typically it doesn't like taper where you kind of like they fade off into their place. It's either they're here and they sleep here and now their beds are over here.
Oh yeah. So I walked upstairs and I look and see that there's no bed in Logan's bedroom, and then I went downstairs and there was no bed in Alex's bedroom, and I was like it was just kind of like, right? Yeah. So that was Friday. Saturday, they came to our house at noon. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad they're back, right?
Yes.
They realized they didn't have Wi-Fi.
No.
And so they brought their TVs and their Xboxes back.
No.
And they played. They took, I had cleaned off the whole dining room table because Aaron's sister and brother-in-law were coming, or sister and her boyfriend were coming in from Chicago, right? So I was like, they're making us a meal. They're traveling all this ways. I'm going to clean off the dining room table and we're going to eat the meal there, right? Oh, no. I have 2 ginormous TVs and Xboxes, and my boys are sitting there playing video games from 12 until 7 on Saturday. And I was like, okay, this is good. As long as they don't have Wi-Fi, they'll come back.
Yes, I'll still see them.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun. So anyway, we had a really good time with them that day. And then they left again, and I was like, okay, Addison was still gone.
Okay.
And then Aaron was gone on Saturday night, right? So he had a meeting he had to go to, and then I'm just home alone. Now, I love being home alone, and at times I've literally kicked my family out so I can have the time alone. But not having a say in it was a whole different thing for me.
It was chosen for you.
I was just like, well, it's 8:30. I guess I'll go to bed. You know, like I'm like, I have nothing else to do. So I'm just going to go to bed now, you know.
I have a dog. So
it was. I like called Penny and I was like, come upstairs with me. And she didn't know what to do because she didn't know where anybody was.
Like,
and so she wouldn't even come upstairs and hang out with me. And I was like, fine, I'll just go to bed then. No big deal. Like, that's cool. And then Sunday was like kind of the same type of thing where they were kind of in and out, but we missed them every time, right? So we were out when they were in and like we just kept passing each other. And so Sunday night I was restless. Addison was then home.
Okay.
So the normalcy of that came back,
yes.
right?
Yes.
But then the boys were gone and they were gone. You know, like I hadn't seen them all day. They still weren't moving their stuff. It was like, oh my gosh. And the weight and the heaviness like all sunk in that moment.
That it's going to look like
I kept
this
like
now.
waiting. So Alex's car was at our house and Logan's tools for work was at our house. So I was like, well, they have to come back. Well, I had texted them, no response. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to bed. So it was like 10 o'clock, you know, I would go to bed and then I hear them pull in the driveway.
Oh,
and my heart was like, ee! And I got super excited. And they both came upstairs and they were so cute. They like snuggled up on my bed with me and we just talked for a little while and then they ended up leaving. But then I was like, I even texted Aaron, I go, now my heart is full and now I can go to sleep, you know, because I just needed that like, I don't know. It was almost like a closure because they had been moving all weekend. And then I knew like Monday morning they're going to go to work. And like now this is the new normal.
It's going to be different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was wild. And then like Monday morning I woke up and I was like, I don't hear their cars leaving and they're just, you know.
It's different, isn't
And then
it?
I'm like, are they awake? Like I'm literally going through all these things.
All the
and
things
as
you
a
worry about.
mom brain. And I'm like, I can't just go wake them up now. And anyways.
No, it's sometimes worse when they live away because you're still thinking of their schedules and what they have to do. Are they up in time? Is there lunch? Do they have stuff? Do they have all this stuff? But they're not right there to make sure anymore.
Exactly. It is. It's weird. It's been an interesting couple days.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
it takes time to transition to new things like that. I remember when the last one went, granted, he had to do it. The military will just take them and bye.
Right.
But that feeling was strange.
It is strange.
It's just walking in. It's like, oh, I have started that new chapter of life. And I had to see it that way. You know, it's like I've always known it was coming.
Yeah.
This is going to happen.
Yep.
All of a sudden it happened. Like,
yeah.
oh.
And for me, I find it to be like, so what do they want me involved in and what do they not? I don't want to overstep my bounds. I don't want to, like, I want them to have their independence and I want to trust that they can do these, you know, these things on their own because they can. They're fully capable of it. You know, but I'm all like, do they have toilet paper? Do they have paper towel? Do they have their toothbrushes? Like, there's almost like they went on vacation and I'm like, do they have all the amenities? Do they need these things?
Do they have their camp gear?
So. Oh, yeah. So I haven't been back to their apartment since that first night, you know. And there was nothing there that night. We sat on the floor and just hung out.
Yes.
And so, but again, until they invite me over there,
got it.
I'm not just gonna go show up.
Love that you are showing respect for their space.
I'm trying
I
really
really
hard.
do. That's a hard thing, and a lot of parents aren't able to separate themselves in that way. And I think it's necessary and it's important to show your adult children who have taken that step. I respect what you're doing.
Thank you.
This is your home, not mine.
Right.
That means I can't just come and go freely and just pop in and take over. And
no,
it's your world and it's your home.
Yes. And I look forward to the day that they invite us to come back and see it.
Yes.
You know, and because I really feel like they want to get it done and set and like be proud and excited like a little kid. You know, like when they draw a drawing, they come and show you or whatever.
Sure.
This is their adult way of saying, look at what we did.
It's a big deal.
So yeah, I have shown extreme restraint of like, okay, you know, just
amazing, mama.
Yeah. So my son did send me a video of his bathroom, like, because he was trying to describe to me like the shower curtain that he bought and you know the different things, and so he's like, he just took a video and sent it to me. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yes.
You know, but that was it. It was
Good.
like a 10-second video of just, you know, showed me the bathroom. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, that
I
it was
think
like
you
just
need
enough.
to get a curtain and just dip it in something that's a little yellow,
Oh.
and then let it dry, and then bring it
For
over.
real?
And hang it
I know.
up
So the
over there.
first night that we went there, I walked in and like pulled my jacket off and like inside it out the sleeves and dropped it right at the door, like right at the entryway. And then I went around and like we turned on all the lights, and then I was like
love
pushing
it.
all the buttons
Open
on
some
everything.
cupboard doors?
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh
Love
yeah,
it.
yeah. And then before we left, it was, you know, I was like, should we shut the lights off? And Aaron was like, no. He's like, leave all the lights on, every single one of them. If there are some that are not on, let's go turn them on. You know, he's like,
I think you should show up with a launder basket of dirty clothes next time. It's like ready
and just
to
like dump it by their laundry thing, like not even do any laundry, just dump it right in
rate
front.
the food and this looks good. I'm going to take this for lunch. Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Payback.
So yeah, it's been yeah. Like I'm super proud of them. I'm super excited for them. I know that this is
Yes.
the right next move.
It is a good step for our young adult kids to take.
Yeah.
I think it's important for them to do that. I understand the whole, well, stay with mom and dad and save money and this and that. And even if parents try to take that more hands-off approach,
Right.
they still, it's like the food is always there,
Mm-hmm.
laundry will get done. They're not learning that responsibility of what it is to have something that is your place, your
Yeah.
space, and taking care of it. And those are good lessons
I
that
think so.
will be beneficial to them.
Yeah, because we had offered, you don't have to move out.
sure.
You know, you can stay
Yes.
here as long as you want. The
Yes.
economy is hard right
It
now.
is
It's
hard.
so hard.
It
They're paying a
is.
ridiculous amount in rent. So this might be a year thing, and then they come back.
Come back
you know?
because the cost is.
or they
Ugh.
move on to somewhere else. You know,
Yep.
I don't know, but yeah, just kind of celebrating it with them and being
Yeah.
excited with them.
I'm
and
glad that you're looking for the celebrations because I know that it's hard.
it is.
I know that it's hard.
They borrowed some of our lawn furniture because they don't have a couch. And I'm like, that is the best part about moving out. Like having your first apartment and having it kind of like hodgepodge
I
together with,
love it.
you know, oh, we don't have this, so we figured this out or
I love
whatever.
it.
That's the best part
It's
about
how
it.
it should be. It's
Yes.
not reality for these kids this age to move into this apartment that's got all brand new furniture and brand
right,
new
like
this.
fully furnished
I'm like,
and all that. No
Parents
way.
don't do that for them. Let
No.
them just.
Yeah. Like
Do
I
it.
bought them, I had to show restraint. I went and I got them like these really cool plates from one of the thrift stores.
Yes.
And I bought them brand new bath towels because I'm like, you got it.
You do. There's
new
some
bath
things
towels,
that-
you know.
And that's like a housewarming.
It was. And I just got them just a couple things. You
Yes.
know, the one thing I told them I was going to get no matter what was a can opener. Because when I moved to my first apartment,
No can opener.
I had no can opener. And this
and
was.
then you got food that you're like, I can't even
Oh,
get into it.
This
So-
was before they had like the pop top things,
Oh, I
and so
know.
I'm all like, should I use a knife? And
I
I'm like,
know.
I don't
I've used
trust myself.
screwdrivers
Like
and
this is.
I
So I ended
know,
up not
bad.
eating anything because I was like, all I had was stuff that was in cans. And anyways,
Mm-hmm.
so I always joked with them about that, and so that was like the first thing I went and bought for them, and I was like, here's the can
there
opener.
you go. You'll
and
be able to eat.
I knew that they had that then, but
If they
Yeah.
have kitchen stuff needs that they might need, just shoot it over to me and let me know because I've got a plethora.
yeah, I don't even know what they
Of
have
stuff,
and what
so-
they don't because I don't know what
Yeah.
they've bought since they moved in, and you know,
Yep.
so I just told them, I said, let me know when there's
sure.
something that you need.
Yeah.
And they keep going, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
If there's kitchen stuff, if they like to cook, if they don't, if they just pick food up, then that's
they do,
fine,
they
but
cook. I mean, they actually bought themselves like pots and pans and
Good,
all of that.
good.
So I don't know if I don't think they have
So-
silverware. I don't know what they have. It's really funny. I have, maybe they did buy a silverware set. I don't know, but it just makes me laugh.
I love watching young men trying to figure out what do we need to set up a house.
Right.
You know, it's,
Right. But the other cool thing is that the responsibility that they have shown in like getting all their documents in that they needed
Good.
and calling and turning on the utilities
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of
all
steps.
these things, right? They just handled it.
Good
they
for
just
them.
took care of it.
Good for them.
And it was like, whoa, something got through. You know, I mean, all those things that it was
Yes.
really, really cool
love
to
it.
watch them
I'm
handle
proud
all
of
that.
you boys. Well done.
Yeah, they did a good job. And they're
Mm.
only 2 miles away. So
So So
That's the best
basically,
part.
it's kind of like you have an estate with a guest house, and they're
Yes.
still on your estate.
They're on the other side of my property.
They just, yes.
Yes, exactly. No, but I think that's good. I think that's just far enough away, just enough independence
Yeah,
for them
all the way
to,
around, it sounds like
Yeah.
it's ideal. It's good.
Yeah. So how are things with you?
Where do you want to start?
Well, we last talked about your son.
My son.
Yep.
Things are the same. He's somewhere there. I think the more time goes, the more it becomes, like you've got a new normal. I have a new normal, and this is just the way it's going to be. I actively, every day when I get up in the morning, give myself the talk of, you will not stop living your life. You are not going to sit and worry. You're not going to sit in fear. You are not going to let this take away you living life. That would disappoint my child. It truly would.
Right.
And what good does it do? It does none. So I allow myself, and I'm not even kidding, 5 minutes to get an update on world news and what's going on, and that's it. I don't allow anymore. I will not immerse in it. I'm not going to get lost in it. It's so skewed anyways,
It is. Yeah.
So I'm doing better with it, but it's never away from me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's just, this is my reality. I can't change it. There is absolutely nothing I can do about it. So I keep moving forward, even though I have fear. So that aspect's going well. And there's been a few other incidents along the way. My dog died yesterday. And
So sorry.
it was one of those things, it's bittersweet. And she was old and declining, and it's like, it's coming. But of our 3 dogs, and don't get me wrong, I love them all, but she was that one when you just needed that grounded, gentle, quiet, sweet, super soft creature.
Yep.
That was her. And it's been hard too, because she was kind of Robert's dog of the 3.
Yeah.
She always preferred him. I'm a little offended, Nutmeg, but that's okay. Robert's a good guy. And just watching him, he had a hard time.
Yeah.
It was emotional. It's, those things can be hard. I'm thankful for dogs, though. They're amazing. And I consider our family lucky to have had her.
Yeah.
But it just kind of sucks. So my day started with that yesterday, and it ended with my woods catching on fire. So
You like to run both ends of the spectrum.
heck yes. So I can add firefighter to my resume.
Nice job.
Yeah, in a tie-dye
In a
onesie.
tie-dye onesie. Yep.
And it wasn't a pastel tie-dye onesie. If I'm going to wear a tie-dye onesie, I'm going
gonna be
bright
bright.
and bold.
Oh, yeah.
But when there's a wall of fire outside your bedroom window, you don't really take time to choose. That seemed to be the fastest, easiest thing, because it's all one piece and a zip.
Right.
So
Yep.
let's go.
Yep.
And because mind you, this was like after 11 o'clock last night. So,
Yep.
my one patriotic crock and whatever else I found in my other foot. So I don't have matching thing. And I'm out there with a stock pot for water and a tiny little garden hose ready to save my land.
Oh, my gosh. Because mention that you live she lives in the middle of the woods.
I live in the middle of the woods. So
Yes.
I'll explain why this was alarming to us. Along our bedroom side of our home is a beautiful pine wood forest, which is carpeted with a very thick layer of very dry pine needles right now and some very dry oak leaves on top of it. It is where our woodshed is, that is filled with our wood that just came. I mean, it's freshly stacked. My husband's brand new electric bike was in there. And all of that is bad, but the worst thing about it is the propane tank that we use for fuel for the house is right there, and it was surrounded by, and I'm not kidding, it was encircled by a ring of fire, and that's where the fire was highest. So it was alarming. We had a situation on hand, because if that thing went, it was going to be pretty bad.
Oh, man.
So there was a bit of excitement, but we handled it in my tie-dye onesie, and
You handled it very fashionably.
so I did. Yes, yeah, it was great. I'm sure the fire department, when they showed up, was super. They're like, We got grandma in a tie-dye onesie out here with a hose and something on her feet, and she's got a stock pot for some reason.
Well, you were a paramedic. You know they've seen everything, right? I mean, that's probably mild compared to some of the things that they've seen.
I know. I'm just like, hi, guys,
Hi, thanks for coming to rescue us.
Thanks for
I dressed
coming.
my best for you.
Yeah, we didn't need 4 full-size fire trucks, 2 emergency units, and whatever else. We're just like, oh, boy.
Yeah, but you could have.
Yes.
I mean, being
The
that they
situation-
needed to send that many, being that you're in the middle of the woods.
true,
so,
yes, because we do. It's very rural. There's not a lot of houses, but there are some houses, and I was very alarmed because if the wind had picked up in any way whatsoever, we were in serious trouble. Because as the fire was burning out on this ring, it was reaching where there was some regular trees, not evergreen trees, but regular trees that were just covered with very dry leaves and a lot of dry leaves on the bottom. And you would see all of a sudden there would be this eruption of, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, not my beautiful pine forest. And I'm like, oh, and our neighbors are going to, not that this was not intentional by any means. We weren't outside burning. And apparently maybe, I guess, we had our fireplace going. And so my day started badly and ended badly. But by the time we walked in the house, I went in first to make sure the dogs were settled because they were freaking out. And I'm like, I don't need to be running outside in my onesie anymore. I'm now soaking wet. And
oh, my gosh.
So I'm inside. I wait for Robert. He walks in. We look at each other, at which point I am laughing until I have tears running down my face. I'm like, only us.
Yep.
Only us.
Yep.
And I think it broke the tension that I had. There's some other things going on in life, too. And I'm just like, I'm good. Yep. I'm good. I'm still standing. So, yay me. So far today's been going pretty smooth. So
Well, it's still early. No, I'm just kidding.
I love you too. So yeah, there's a little snapshot of life currently. And the house didn't burn down. It would have if we had fallen asleep. There's no doubt whatsoever in my mind that that wouldn't have been avoided. There's just too many dry leaves and stuff. And I don't, who knows, how bad it would have gotten. So
I'm so glad you were protected.
I know, me too. So yes, thank you for asking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I agree.
But I'm doing well. Yesterday I wasn't, and today I just woke up with a very different attitude. It's almost like I got shown. It's like things could be far worse. Right. You sat there, Heidi, thinking life can't get much worse. Things are just awful, and I can't do this. So just threw a little fire to end my day, and I can handle this. I can handle life. It didn't have to take me out, and I'm going to be just fine. So my whole perspective changed today, and it's much better. And I get to see you. So yay!
I know it's been too long.
It has been. I know 24 hours is too long.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I agree. Yep. Well, good. Well, I think that we will wrap that up.
Okay.
There.
Yes.
Today.
I know.
As our
I have
sun
nothing
has
else
set,
that has happened.
because it's
Michigan
like
in
5:30.
November. Be very, very quiet.
Yes. Well, good. Thank you so much for joining us, and tune in next time.
Yes.
To our next episode. Bye.